The Army may be getting to the bottom of all this talk about the so-called flying saucers. Headline edition, July 8, 1947. Has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army. Army officers say the missile, found sometime last week, has been inspected at Roswell, New Mexico.
On this call, probably knows Luis Elizondo is a professional disinformation agent, putting out false intelligence about the UFO matter in through the mainstream media. The reason Mr. Sheehan is doing this, we've had a long discussion about it going back 2 or 3 weeks, is that Luis Elizondo approached him to help him with his legal case. 2 people on my team, including attorney Daniel Sheehan, that he knows, and the other people like Chris Mellon know that there is no such thing as an alien threat, that there is not a threat to the national security, but that's the only way they can get this in front of the American people to get more overt funding for the Space Force and eventually a conflict with these extraterrestrial civilizations. He has flat out said he knows that everything he's been saying about this being a threat is untrue. Now, Daniel Sheehan has also shared, and this is even more explosive, that Luis Elizondo has informed him that he, in fact, has been in a facility where an actual extraterrestrial vehicle was stored. Now, why is that important? Because he's all over the news, 60 Minutes, every mainstream news channel, along with his other cohorts in the cover-up, such as Leslie Kean, Nick Pope, Chris Mellon, and others, saying that we don't know what these are. Now, interestingly, he absolutely knows that some of these craft are in fact of extraterrestrial origin. He must also then know that some of them are ours. The recent Jeremy Corbell interview on Fox News, where they were showing these triangles swarming, menacing our Navy ships, every one of those pyramid triangular-shaped objects with flashing light on them are from either Northrop Grumman or Boeing or the Lockheed. Most likely Northrop Grumman. Those are man-made UFOs. They're anti-gravity vehicles. Everyone in the aerospace industry at any level of clearance knows this. Just so people get clear, it is not that Daniel Sheehan has defected to the dark side or anything like that. He's trying to encourage Luis Elizondo, and I think by extension some of these others, to in fact defect from the disinformation and lies that they have been saying in the mainstream media, up on Capitol Hill, and in other places about this subject. The 2 very big lies that they're telling, as well as their acolytes, people like Leslie Kean, who had worked with me originally on the Disclosure Project. By the way, she subsequently raided our pool of disclosure witnesses after she got on the inside, and along with some other people, put those nuclear military site witnesses, people who had been at nuclear silos and in other places together, and spun the story that the aliens, or whatever these UFOs are, were degrading our nuclear arsenal readiness, and therefore were they a national security concern and threat. Also a lie, because every one of those men told me that they felt that the ETs were trying to say, please do not blow up this beautiful planet, but if you go so far as to launch thousands of these, we can basically disable them. So she is also someone who has pivoted towards getting the money and the attention and the mainstream coverage by basically telling a lie. It's in his penmanship and signed by him back to a friend that we've acquired. We have enormous amounts of information like that. So these people that you see on 60 Minutes, that you see on Fox News and CNN and all the media, this is the ramping up of the false disclosure that we warned about in 1999 when we wrote the paper, When Disclosure Serves Secrecy. Why? because they want people to now know that there are UFOs, but they want to put this big lie out there that they are a national security threat and concern. This is what Nick Pope and others keep saying. By the way, Nick Pope has admitted to 2 people on my team that he has been paid large sums of money to say these very scripted things in the mainstream media, so that he has been able to buy some really pricey real estate in Soho and London and elsewhere. One of my concerns about this is that while I normally do not engage in sort of gossip, is that now that these people are miseducating deliberately the American people and the world on this, it is a very big concern. They have stepped into another level of deception. If there are millions and millions of people hearing this lie. Now, all these people, from Chris Mellon to Luis Elizondo to Leslie Kean to Nick Pope and others, know for a fact just what I just said, that there are 2 types of UFOs seen. Man-made ones, that is the bigger secret, by the way. The ET issue is not as big a secret as the man-made ones, for a reason I'll get into in a moment. And that this is not a national security threat. All the images that you have seen in the mainstream news of the Tic Tac, of these pyramids and triangles, those are all ours. And they were filmed and known at some point they would release it to open the door to this subject. But there's more coming. You saw on the History Channel where the Italian helicopter that crash landed after it had some malfunction, that whole event, we know from Paula Harris, who was there and met with the man who's now the admiral who, when it is on that show, said that those were our human classified electromagnetic weapons, that they were attempting to target UFO ET craft that were in the area at the time. She knows this for a fact, and Count 7, 4. Count 7, 4. 9, 5, repeat. 2, 7, 2, 5, 7.